Well, let's not stand on ceremony, mate. Let's start the show.
It's marvelous.
Are you ready for our rendezvous?
He's got a sexy voice. He might be cute.
Ready for the fun part? Oh, yeah. Because here comes the fun part.
Hit the radio.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call me at 457-1290.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
How about a nice hot dog and a beer?
Hi, how are you? Could I get a hot dog?
Your Majesty, would you like a hot dog?
Made out with a hot dog.
We just got the munchies, so we decided we'd go to hot dog heaven.
Put the hot dog, step away from the mustard.
Yesterday, all I had to eat was a hot dog.
Just a hot dog?
A hot dog and mustard.
Okay, fine, give me the hot dog.
It's like throwing a hot dog down a hallway.
Did you want a hot dog?
Was he eating a hot dog?
We haven't hit the hot dog bin in a couple of weeks.
A little relish on your hot dog!
You snooze, you lose your hot dog.
If you snooze, you lose your hot dog. It is the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 6 to 8. National Hot Dog Day. It is a hot day for National Hot Dog Day. Lots to talk about tonight on the show. We are looking for the best hot dog in Dayton. Is there a place that you go that has a wonderful hot dog? A wiener mecca? 937-457-1290. Also today, Ron Otto was just talking about this in the hallway. This woman in New Carlisle who pulled a hysterical April Fool's joke last year. She was sentenced to 30 days house arrest and 40 hours of community service. Doesn't seem like much, right? I mean, we've all pretty much been under house arrest for the last couple years. We're used to staying at home. This woman who called in or texted in to her sister that there was a active shooter at the Navistar plant where she was working. And her sister, in a panic, called the police and said, "My sister just texted me there's an active shooter." So 34 law enforcement and EMS personnel responded, thinking that there was gunfire flying through the air and people were being shot. It turns out it was just an April Fool's joke. 30 days house arrest doesn't seem like a lot. It's like a little slap on the wrist. Now, maybe if they'd say 30 days house arrest and we're taking away your internet and TV, that might be punishment. But just 30 days house arrest in general, it seemed like a big deal. 40 hours community service. All right, well, it's a couple hours a week. If that, for a couple of months? Not that big of a deal. But it got us talking in the hallway, and Ron brought this up. I'm giving Ron Otto all the credit in the world. He said, you ought to ask your listeners tonight what pranks that they tried to pull that backfired. I thought that is a great idea, because at some point or another, I'm sure everybody has tried to pull a prank. Some people are just naturally born pranksters. Others, not so much. I've never really tried to pull a prank as an adult, but I remember doing it with my friends when we were kids. I mean, some of the pranks that we did, and I've talked about on the show, I remember one time we collected 40 or 50 for sale signs and loaded them all in my friend's station wagon. Well, actually, his parents' station wagon. And then we went to a house of a girl that we kind of liked, didn't like. It was one of those deals. And we put them all in her front yard. And on our way out, some big mean man who lived close by came out and confronted us. So, I mean, the prank worked, but we kind of got busted for it. Another time we tried to put, and we actually succeeded, we put lawn furniture on the roof of someone's house. They lived on a one-story ranch, And they were friends of ours. We did that. We put all their lawn furniture on their roof. Got away with that. But I don't really remember anything backfiring. We TP'd people. It's kind of a prank, but not really. So my thought is like, if you've tried to prank somebody good and it's just backfired, what happened? Did you try to redo the prank once you figured out the holes in your plan? 937-457-1290. Ben in Dayton, what's up, Ben?
Hi.
Hey.
I'm just going to say, pranks were fun. Depends on what generation we are. I was just put out a caveat. Anyone trying to do a prank, it may not land the way you think because things have changed. I don't think we can prank the way we did 10, 20, 30 years ago. We're too litigious.
I would agree with that. And also the thing that I've noticed that things in culture that, let me ask you this, Ben, how old are you?
I'm over 60. So
okay.
I've been around for a bunch of generations.
No, I got you. And I'm 52. I'll be 53 in September. Things that exist in the culture today, the certain way that I think about things, or maybe you think about things, they have shifted, and lots of times we're not aware of it. So if we make a joke to somebody, you got to know the audience, because what you think is one way, they may view differently, and then you're in HR. You go to you get in trouble at HR, right?
Think about it. Proof, Chris Rock, and even Dave Chappelle. We're not immune from people being offended. I think everyone ought to take a step back and have a much better sense of humor. But I'd be very careful pranking today.
Yeah. Especially in the workplace. That's how you get fired.
Someone putting mayo on my hot dog, that would be a prank.
Exactly. But you know what? It's funny that you mentioned that, because I mentioned workplace, you mentioned food. I have seen stories where people have, like if there's a community refrigerator at work, right? And people come in and they put in their food, that somebody else in the office is stealing food. So I saw a story where someone put ghost peppers in their lunch. It was like part of macaroni and cheese or something.
Oh no!
And the food thief stole it, and they ate it, and of course they had a horrible reaction because it was so hot. The person who put the food in the refrigerator got fired.
Yeah.
And it's a prank. It's a prank, but it's like, yep, I got you fired. So I appreciate your. Go ahead, Ben. You got something else?
Say, we told my little brother that a stick of butter would be a great thing to eat when we were little. And he survived that.
Right.
That wasn't a prank that was life-threatening. I think there's funny pranks, and some go a bit too far. I think anything that scares people is probably not a prank.
Oh, I would agree with that. You can't scare people. There is a line. I appreciate your call, Ben. Appreciate it. Michelle in Beaver Creek. Hey, Michelle. Hey.
I was calling to tell you about a hot dog place that we found in West Virginia.
In West Virginia?
Yeah, but it's just across the Ohio River.
Oh, okay.
It's a little bit of a drive, but it's really worth it. It's called Hillbilly Hot Dog. And it lives up to the name Hillbilly.
So is it like a roadside stand?
No. It's an actual sit-down restaurant.
Okay.
But most of the seating is in, they have an old school bus that they've taken all of the seats out, and they have seating in there. They have picnic tables outside. They even have an old outhouse turned into a table for you to sit in. And if you can imagine it on a hot dog, they have it.
So do they... Go ahead.
The yard is filled with everything that you can imagine seeing in a Kentucky yard.
Or a West Virginia yard in this case.
Yes.
Wow.
And they even have a wedding chapel there.
Oh, you could get married at the Hillbilly Hot Dog stand. That would be a nice little, you wouldn't have to worry about the reception, right? You
Absolutely.
just have them feed everybody. Wow, that's good. That's good. Now let me ask you this, Michelle. Have you ever been pranked, or have you tried to pull a prank that backfired?
I have been pranked, yes.
Yeah. Anything?
I like to prank people, so people like to prank me.
All right. Well, give us a prank that you've pulled.
Well, I'll tell you what happened to me because I prank people all the time.
Okay.
I'm generally I like to be a counselor in camps for kids in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And one year I went to the evening service, and my whole entire bed had been taken apart from my room and was placed up in the front of the room with all of my belongings spread out on it.
Those darn kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got me good that year.
That's good. That's a good one. I appreciate it, Michelle. Thank you. That line's open, 937-457-1290.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst. Often irreverent, seriously funny.
Stop kidding with me, Todd.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him now at Evening Edge Todd.
Often irreverent, seriously funny.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 6 to 8. If you have Hulu, there is a 3-part documentary you might want to check out. It's called Victoria's Secret: Angels and Demons. And I finished watching it this morning before I came in. And basically, it talks about the connection between Victoria's Secret founder Lex Wexner and Jeffrey Epstein. Very, very interesting. Very enlightening. And Heidi Klum is featured. She's a hottie. 937-457-1290. Let's see. Steve in Xenia. What's up, Steve?
Hey, Todd. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am doing well, thank you.
What's happening?
Well, I'm calling in about the pranks going bad.
Okay, let's hear it.
So this goes back quite a few years. I actually worked for a college at the time, and it was the night before graduation, and the college was holding graduation in a large yard outside the library that had lots of big trees around, and of course the maintenance crew had worked tireless hours preparing, and it was supposed to be great.
Right.
Well, a number of guys got together and thought it'd be fun to teepee. And they did a great job of teepeeing all of the trees around graduation.
Yeah.
And I actually worked at the time in the student life area, and so I get a call from the dean, and he said, could you just park yourself outside your door and keep an eye out for a group of guys? They should be headed your way in about 10 minutes. And sure enough, this is in the middle of the night. Here they come. They come around the corner, and I just come out of the shadows and say, hey, guys, what's up? And so needless to say, it wasn't a very fun morning. They actually, the backfire part was that, as well as the college hired the local fire department to come in and spray the teepee out of the trees, and guess who got to pay for that little extra bill, and then followed by just, I don't know how many 5-gallon buckets of soggy, wet toilet paper had to be picked up before graduation started at 10 o'clock.
No, I have a question here. Did it help having the fire department spray water into the trees? Because my thought was, I think it would be easier to get it out of the trees than soaking it down.
It was a debate, but that's what they decided. They thought it would be.
Oh.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was, needless to say, it was a prank gone bad.
Yeah, I would say. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate your call. Imagine that, like the conversation. I don't know. Do you think we should take our hoses and spray the TP out of the tree? Well, I don't know. Maybe we should just let it blow in the wind and hopefully it'll come down. I don't know. Let's get the hoses. I mean, that's what it was, right? Sean in Greenville. What's up, Sean?
John.
Oh, John. Hey, John. How you doing?
Doing all right.
Good. What's up, man?
Talk to you about some hot dogs since National Hot Dog Day.
Oh, yes. You know, Eli, my producer, had a great idea. If we could get somebody to combine a backfired prank along with hot dogs, something, like intertwine, I think that might be nice. Anyway, go ahead.
All right. Talk to you. Place up in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Oh, Fort Wayne. Okay.
Fort Wayne's Coney Island.
Okay.
They've been around for over 100 years.
Really?
Yes. They serve their hot dogs on a steamed hot dog bun, and their Coney sauce is, I kind of want to say it's like a sauceless sauce, so it's just meat, fresh diced onions, and a small strip of mustard. That's all it takes, and I could put down over 6 of those in one sitting.
Like regular size or mini like they have at Skyline?
Regular size hot dogs.
6 of them?
Yes.
Wow. John, I'm impressed. I am impressed. Do they serve footlongs?
No, it's just standard, regular-sized hot dogs.
I always loved going to the A&W Rooper stand there on Woodman when I was a kid because I'd always get the footlong hot dog, and that was such a big treat with mustard and cheese. Very cool. Thanks, John. I appreciate your call. That line's open, 937-457-1290. I'm trying to work in these contests, but all of our lines are full with people talking about wieners and pranks. So hang in there. We will have air show tickets to give away and also another pair of tickets for the Who's Line Anyway this Saturday night at the Phrase.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst. Often irreverent, seriously funny.
Never thought this radio stunt would catch on so big.
There's Todd, it's showtime, okay?
He's one of the greatest men in radio.
That guy's crazy!
It's like I'm talking to a monkey.
You should tune in.
He's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, he means well.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call me at 457-1290.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Want a hot dog? How about a nice hot dog and a beer?
Hi, how are you? Can I get a hot dog? Your Majesty, would you like a hot dog?
Made out with a hot dog.
We just got the munchies, so we decided we'd go to hot dog heaven.
Put the hot dog, step away from the mustard.
Yesterday, all I had to eat was a hot dog.
Just a hot dog?
A hot dog and mustard.
Okay, fine. Give me the hot dog.
It's like throwing a hot dog down a hallway.
Did you want a hot dog?
Was he eating a hot dog?
We haven't hit the hot dog bin in a couple of weeks. A little relish on your hot dog!
You snooze, you lose your hot dog.
It is the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 6 to 8, National Hot Dog Day. You've got a place in the Miami Valley you love to go get a hot wiener. I'd love to hear about it. 937-457-1290. Also, pranks that have backfired. On the coattails of this story of this woman up in New Carlisle who called in a prank last year. The Navistar plant said there was a active shooter. She actually texted her sister and said there's an active shooter, and everybody's taking cover. And her sister, in a panic, calls 911. Cops, EMS show up. Oh, it was just an April Fool's joke. But she was sentenced to 30 days. Was it 30 days? Yeah, I think so. 30 days house arrest. Nothing, no hard time. No hard time. But if you have a prank that backfired, 937-457-1290. Eli, I think we're going to do the contest. I'm going to solicit for that. If you would like to go see Who's Live Anyway this Saturday night, and you want to take the current events quiz, 937-457-1290, be the fifth caller, and you can get on and take the quiz, okay? Let's talk to Barb in New Knoxville. Hey, Barb, what's going on?
Hey. I just want to say I love your show.
Oh, well,
and
thank you.
I listen to you all the time. But I wanted to tell you, my daughter and I ate at Joey's Subs in downtown Lima today. And even though we got a walking taco, they have 18 gourmet hot dogs that you can get.
18?
18. One of them's called a Mac Dog that has pickle, American cheese, lettuce, onion, Thousand Island dressing, and mayonnaise on it.
Thousand Island and mayo.
Yes. And
wow.
They range $5. There's the pizza dog, the Reuben dog, the Skeeter dog, the slaw dog, the Texas dog. I mean, if you ever really want to have your choice of hot dogs, I would go to Joey's Subs.
You know what they should have? They should have some sort of frequent wiener club where you go up and you get a stamp For every you got to go through and you got to try all 18 of them.
Yes,
and then
that would be an awesome one.
Yeah, once you get through all 18, you win like a T-shirt or something.
Yeah,
I
that would be
downed
cool.
18 wieners at what'd you call it, Joey's?
Joey's Subs.
Joey's
but they have all
Subs.
these specialty hot dogs.
Wow. All right. Now, do you have is that your favorite, the one you mentioned?
Well, actually, that's the first time I ate there was today. My daughter
Oh.
works at the courthouse, and she gave me a tour of the courthouse in downtown Lima, and then we went to eat at Joey's Subs, but we got a walking taco.
Okay. Well,
So,
next time you go
that's
visit
it.
her, you'll have to try one of their hot dogs.
Yeah, and can I tell a quick joke?
Oh, of course. Go ahead, by all means.
I saw this on my way home as I was driving through Lima. It was on a sign.
Uh-huh.
It said the definition of irony is getting pregnant on a pull-out couch.
That's a good one, Barb. Thank you so much. Please call anytime, okay?
Okay, thanks so much.
Sure. There you go. I love that. We got Shannon. Shannon in Bellbrook. Hey, Shannon.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing? You want to take the current events quiz?
I sure do.
Okay, here we go. Let's get it going.
Listen, everybody. It's the Evening Edge Current Events Quiz.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
Can you answer the question?
I bet you think you're pretty smart, huh?
Now, here's your host, Todd Hollst.
Thank you very much, Norm Kelly, official announcer of the current events quiz. All right, Shannon, you are playing for a pair of tickets to Whose Line Anyway this Saturday night at the Phrase Pavilion, featuring none other than Drew Carey.
Okay, great.
Okay, now do you know how the current events quiz works?
No.
Okay, I will explain it, Shannon. I'm going to give you 3 questions with 3 possible answers, and the answer is always the letter C.
Okay.
Okay? It's very easy. Well, we make it easy. I want people to go home happy. I don't want them to go home empty-handed.
Well, that's very nice.
Yeah. So tonight's current events quiz has to do with animals.
Okay.
Okay, all 3 questions involve animals. All right, here's question number 1. Residents along the Connecticut River in Norwich, Connecticut were surprised recently to see what was making its way upstream from Long Island Sound. Was it A, a child's inflatable ball pit with John Travolta inside screaming for help? B, a ball of COVID masks measuring 8 feet in diameter? Or C, a wayward dolphin?
I think it's C.
You are correct. It came in 15 miles down the river, or I guess it would be up the river. And people saw it like doing the typical dolphin leap out of the water. It was weird. Can you imagine seeing that? Yeah, just in a river. It'd be like seeing a dolphin in the Great Miami River.
All right.
Yeah, it'd be strange. You'd be like, what in the heck is that? All right, here's question number 2. Yeah. Authorities in Tokyo, Japan say a small city there is being terrorized by what? A gang of thieves dressed as anime characters. B, a drunken sumo wrestler challenging locals to wrestle. Or C, a wild monkey breaking into homes and attacking people.
I think it's C again.
You are correct. It's one of those macaw, I think they're called macaw monkeys, and it's attacked about 20 people. It's broken into homes, and it even attacked a 9-month-old. It's crazy. It's a wild monkey.
Yikes. I think it's been in my neighborhood.
Really? You have a wild monkey in your neighborhood?
Something like it.
Just a bratty neighborhood? Is that what you... That's the wild monkey, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
All right, here's question number 3. A couple from Cumbria, England, recently came home and found what passed out in their bed? A, Mr. Bean. B, a Spice Girl who's fallen on hard times. Or C, a sea otter.
It's got to be C.
You got it. The sea otter somehow made its way into the house, actually came through a cat door. It knocked over a candle, ate some cat food, and then crawled into their bed and went to sleep.
Wow.
Well, you think about it, for a sea otter, it's probably a big day going into a house and knocking over candles and eating cat food. Needed a nap. Well, congratulations. You are the winner, Shannon. Hang on the line, and Eli will get your information. Now, those tickets are going to be at Will Call on Saturday night. So when you show up there, you just have to take your picture ID, okay?
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you so much.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for listening to the show. That line's open, 937-457-1290. John in Dayton. What's up, John?
Hi, Todd. I just want to tell you while I was waiting, I think one of the best parts of your show is it causes all of us to recall some great memories, whether we call in or not.
Oh, well, I'm glad. People love nostalgia.
There you go.
People love nostalgia, especially in uncertain times. When things are a little crazy and the world is going bonkers, it's nice to think back to a time when life seemed a little bit more comfortable and better.
Well, you made me recall a prank.
Oh, well, let's hear it. I want to hear it.
Well, I guess I was about 13, and it was around Halloween, maybe a few days before, but we made a very lifelike dummy. And we would go out under the streetlight after dark and stand there and beat that dummy as a car would go by, and the car would screech on its brakes, back up, and we'd drag the dummy into the bushes, and they wouldn't know what happened.
Right.
Well, I took that dummy home, and I took it into a garage that we had behind our house that we didn't have electricity in yet. And my father parked his motorcycles in there, and there was a ladder standing up, and I just propped the dummy up against the ladder. And that same night, my dad went out for a motorcycle ride. He went into the garage, lit a cigarette, and saw that dummy, and he tackled it because he thought it was someone in the garage.
Yeah, gave him a pummeling.
And he fought it, but the thing didn't fight him back. Well, when he realized what he'd hit, he came into the house looking for me.
Well, here's the thing, John, is you couldn't do that now because, honestly, if you were out beating up a dummy on the street and a car pulled up, there's a good chance in today's world they were packing, right? Like they'd have a gun ready to pulled and ready to go, and you'd make the wrong move and whammo, you end up with buckshot in your butt.
So let's not give anybody any ideas.
Yeah. Yep. All right. I appreciate your call, John. Have a good one. That line's open, 937-457-1290. Larry, what's going on, Larry?
Hey, I'm at that root beer stand you've been talking about on Woodman Drive.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. There's only one server, and they're backed up, and they're packed.
Oh, no. Only one server?
Yep. Only one person covering the whole parking lot.
Oh, man. Well, you thought that they'd be ready for National Hot Dog Day at a place called the Root Beer Stand. Well,
do you remember on Linden Avenue, not far from Woodman, the old Lums?
Oh, boy. That name sounds familiar, but I don't...
Hot dog steamed in beer.
No, I don't... I would have been there if I'd been old enough.
I must have been older than you, bud.
Yeah. Where were they at on Linden? Was it west of Woodman or towards Carroll High School?
Woodman. It used to be a Sunoco station, and up from there, it used to be an eye doctor place not too long ago.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but it's on Linden Avenue. It's Lums hot dogs steamed in beer.
Hot dogs steamed in beer. That sounds pretty good.
Well, and I'm the mayonnaise guy on my hot dog.
You put mayo on your hot dog.
A buddy of mine taught me about it about 2-3 years ago, and I've been eating them that way ever since.
Just something that came into my mind. I like bratwurst. I can imagine like a spicy bratwurst. I would put horsey sauce on it from Arby's. That might be pretty good.
Yeah, me too.
That would be good. All right. Thanks, Larry. I appreciate your call.
Be of good cheer and call me.
Call me now!
Call me!
He's laughing at us right on the radio.
Least we could do is get him on the radio and talk to him.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call me at 457-1290.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 6 to 8. Shout out to Jack. He sent me a message on Messenger. By the way, you can follow me on social media and send me a message. either on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Jack writes, prank gone wrong. About 60 years ago or so, definitely made an impression on me. In kindergarten, I watched kids yanking chairs back just when a kid was getting ready to sit down. So the kid tumbled on the floor with no chair there. Yeah, that's kind of a standard kids prank. You pull the seat out right before they sit down. Jack continues, thinking I would give it a try. I pulled the chair on a classmate and neighbor, so he tumbled, but I didn't pull the chair far enough, and the boy whacked his head on the back of the chair and ended up getting stitches. Oops. Oops. No more chair pulling for me. Great story. Thanks, Jack. 937-457-1290. Eli, I have a question for you. Last night, Jimmy was producing the show, and I asked him this question, and tonight I want to ask you this question. There was a man in Idaho. He broke a world's record, and this is perfect today because it's National Hot Dog Day. He broke a record for the longest throw and catch of a hot dog in a bun. So here's what he did. The record, by the way, 156 feet, 2 inches. That was the record. Somebody threw a wiener through the air, 156 feet, 2 inches, and somebody on the other end caught it in a hot dog bun. Now, the question I have for you, and I think if I recall, Jimmy said he thought he could probably throw it about 50, 55 feet. How far do you think you could throw a wiener?
I'm probably going to go with like 50 feet.
Yeah?
I don't know. It depends on your brand and stuff. You got to think of the weight and stuff.
that was the point last night. Is first of all, if it's kind of a cheap brand, it's going to be flimsy, right? So if you try to put some spin on it, you run the risk of the wiener splitting in two, which of course you would be disqualified. I think what you need is a good beefy wiener that has a strong casing on it that can withstand that type of turbulence that a wiener might experience flying through the air on a flight to a bun.
Right, and I feel like you wouldn't need one of them bun length ones. You need one of them short ones.
Oh yeah. You mean like something from Skyline, like one of the smaller ones?
Yeah, I feel like they would travel better.
Well, I don't know. I think part of the record is the fact that this is like a normal type of hot dog. It's not some sort of special stunt hot dog. But this guy, he threw the hot dog 167 feet and 5 inches, and somebody caught it on the other end with a bun.
I bet the special stunt dogs taste better though.
Probably so. We have Florida Man news.
Florida Man shines with every single crime, stupefying and delicious. Some might even think fictitious. Florida Man is always ambitious.
Now, before I get to these Florida Man stories, we've been talking about pranks that have backfired. And Eli made a great point during the commercial break, during our news, that if this were a guy, this woman up in New Carlisle who pulled this prank at Navistar, I'm sure you've heard about it. She texted her sister and said that there was an active shooter at the Navistar plant. Her sister, in a panic, and rightfully so, calls the police and says, hey, my sister just texted me. There's an active shooter. They're barricading themselves. You got to get there. So the cops show up. EMS shows up. Turns out it was all an April Fool's joke that the one sister was pulling on the other. If this had been a guy who pulled this, do you think he would have just gotten 30 days house arrest and 40 hours community service? I hate to bring sexism into this, but I really think about this because Florida Man does stuff like this, right? Florida Man has, we've done stories about that kind of thing. They almost always end up doing some jail time. Almost always. But not New Carlisle. Not there. Just something to think about. All right, here's our Florida Man stories for tonight. We have two. Florida man was arrested. A Florida man was arrested yesterday after losing it inside a Subway restaurant. Apparently, a 52-year-old man was inside the store, and when he was getting ready to pay, he was told that he would have to pay with cash for his foot-long sandwich instead of credit. Apparently, their credit card machine was down, which from time to time it happens. I've gone pulled into McDonald's or some restaurant, and they say, "Sorry, but our credit card machine's down." And I don't carry cash. I generally don't carry cash. It's certainly annoying, but you just move on. And you go to the next place, right? Well, this guy was inside the store, started yelling at employees. He was so loud that an employee at an adjacent business overheard the yelling and screaming and called 911. The suspect allegedly threatened to shoot up the place and burn it to the ground while yelling profanities at the employees, all because he had to use cash. He then went out to his car and retrieved a pocket knife and came back inside, waving it toward the employees, threatening to kill him. Again, all because he had to use cash. Once deputies arrived, they learned the suspect became enraged, of course, when he was informed they could only accept cash. The man was arrested and taken to jail and charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and disorderly intoxication. So that's Florida man story numero uno. Here's number two. A Florida man was arrested after faking his own kidnapping. We had a story yesterday of an American woman who traveled to India to hook up with a guy she met online. And when she got there, she contacted her parents and said, "Hey, I've been kidnapped. Send money." So she got arrested for faking her own kidnapping. This Florida man did the same. Sheriff's deputies responded to a report of a kidnapping that had been called to 911. The caller said the kidnapped victim had just been snatched and forced into a car against his will and driven away. Short time later, a second 911 call came in stating the vehicle with the kidnapped victim was actually spotted on Highway 441. An investigation revealed that the 911 caller, in fact, the alleged victim himself, was the one who called it in, and it was all just a big hoax. When deputies finally made contact with the man, he stated he did not know why he made up the false report. No clue. He must have been bored. Lots of times our Florida man stories involve them committing crimes when they're bored. So this guy must not be working, time on his hands, and he's thinking, what can I do? I know. I'll fake my own kidnapping. The thing that's interesting is that his first call, I can sort of understand. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's silly. It's Florida man. He's faking a kidnapping, right? But after you make that first call, there's a moment where you're like, oh boy, what did I just do? Oh no. All right, I'm not going to say anything else. Or there's the other side. I'm going to dig myself deeper into this hole, and I'm going to call back and add to the narrative of this kidnapping. And that's what he did. There you go. Florida man, always up to no good.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst. Often irreverent, seriously funny.
Don't hesitate to call. You call me. You better call me.
Damn it, get me a phone.
Call me on my radio.
I'm gonna call you.
You got him on the radio?
You won't make a simple phone call?
What is wrong with you?
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call me at 457-1290.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
You can't start a fire. You can't start a fire without a spark. This gun's for hire. Even if we're just dancing in.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 6 to 8. Don't know if you heard that Bruce What's my problem tonight? I'm having a heck of a time putting words together. Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band are going on tour next year throughout North America. And he's going to be at Nationwide Arena in Columbus As far as I know, that's the closest location on March 9th, 2023. And by the way, Miami Valley's Morning News with Larry Hanskin, they are giving away tickets all this week to that show. But that brings up an interesting story that I saw about these tickets. I have never, I don't recall seeing tickets for a concert go this high right off the bat. So these tickets, by the way, the tickets for Columbus go on sale Wednesday. There's some other shows that have already been announced a couple of weeks ago, and tickets went on sale. Well, Ticketmaster, everybody hates Ticketmaster. Ticketmaster has something called dynamic pricing. And the way this basically works is that depending on demand, ticket prices will fluctuate up and down. So instead of like in the old days, you know, when a band would go on tour and let's say they'd be coming to Hare Arena, they'd say tickets are $18, whatever it is. That's what it is. It's $18. Period. End of discussion. But now, and this isn't anything new, right? It's not anything new. But if the demand is high for certain tickets through Ticketmaster and this dynamic pricing, the price fluctuates. Now, it makes sense, and a lot of people, have dealt with the legal and illegal scalpers, right? And that's kind of the way they work. They go and they buy a bunch of tickets, and then they make them available. Now it's online, it's through an app or whatever. But they can jack the prices up because they bought the tickets, and you really want to go see whatever that band or artist is, and you're willing to pay it. But you're going through like a second business, an aftermarket business, if you will. Legal scalpers. But this is the first time I saw anything like this with Ticketmaster, where this pricing system fluctuates up and down. So according to one story I saw, this was Yahoo Finance, the base price for these tickets was set between $60 and $399. Now, $399, I know to many people is going to sound astronomical for a concert ticket. It is, in one rational way of looking at it, but it's not that unusual. Tickets that cost $400, $500, $600, it's not that unusual for that to happen. However, these tickets, $4,000. They are for the platinum floor seat. So those prices, that $4,000 ticket started at $399. That's the way they were set. But because of this pricing system, $4,000 a seat. And, oh, by the way, I mentioned this, I didn't mention it before the segment. Our phone system is acting a little funky. So if you want to call, 457-1290 is not working. You will hear one ring, and then you will hear static, and then you'll be disconnected. You'll think that Jimmy, who's producing tonight, doesn't want to hear from you and hung up on you. That's not the case, at least for most callers. But 457-1291, 1292, and 1293, they are all working. The way it works, and not to get too technical, when you call 1290, if that line is busy, it rolls it over to 1291 or 1292, 1293. But because the 1290 is not working, you have to dial the others directly. So, 937-457-1291, 92, and 93. All right. But the thing is with these tickets, the artists, I guess they do have the ability to cap the price. So if Bruce Springsteen and his management said, look, we know that these tickets might become a hot commodity, and as much as we would like to cash in, we are also aware that sometimes maybe having tickets that are $4,000 a piece could be a bit of a PR problem. And when you think of all the artists out there who are supposed to be, quote unquote, for the working man, Bruce is probably near the top, right? I would say Bruce Springsteen. I would say John Mellencamp. I would say John Fogerty. You know, that ilk of artists are sort of, you know, blue collar, hardworking American. We're not going to take advantage of you. We're all in this together, that kind of thing. So I am a little surprised that we're seeing these stories that people are looking at ticket prices at $4,000 a pop. But here's the other side of this, is that there are idiots who are paying this. Right? I mean, those seats are selling. But I just can't imagine. There isn't an artist on this planet. I don't even know if there's an artist that has passed on that I would pay $4,000 for a concert ticket. And really, it would be $8,000 because I'd have to take my spouse or somebody else. Maybe Elvis, maybe Prince, but not $4,000. I can't imagine that anybody would pay that much money to go see an artist, especially now. You know, at one time, when these guys and gals went on tour, that was the only time you got to see them, right? Or you'd see them on TV. You'd hear them on the radio. You'd see them on an occasional TV interview or when they performed on one of the late night shows or whatever it was. And I'm talking back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. But now they're all over the place, right? I mean, they are all over the place. So it's not like you're, if you don't get to see Springsteen this time, forget it. No, he's all over I saw him a couple of years ago down in Cincinnati. It was a great show, but certainly not worth $4,000 a ticket. And let's not forget either, Bruce isn't hurting for money. You know, he sold his publishing rights. I think it was to maybe Sony, one of the big music publishing companies, for $500 million. That's what was reported. So they just cut him a check. Here you go. $500 million, and they own all the rights to his music. I'm assuming there's, contractually, he can perform them and they are his, and he can do with them as he pleases. But once he leaves us, then Sony gets all the royalties. But that's crazy. $4,000 a ticket. I can't fathom that. Maybe a Super Bowl. If you had that kind of money and your team was playing in the Super Bowl, maybe some people would be like, "Oh, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I've got to take the shot." But a concert that, he's still in pretty good health. I've not heard any health issues with Bruce Springsteen. So he'll probably do another 3 or 4 tours, if not more. There'll be other chances to see him. 937-457-1291, 1292, 1293. I saw this survey. I thought this was kind of interesting. A new survey by Ecolab reveals that the average person eats food off the floor 4 times a month. Yeah, I know, Jimmy. Jimmy just turned and gave me this look like, what? Yeah, 4 times a month. Now, I will admit that over the weekend, I did eat food off the floor Mary, my wife, made bacon and eggs Sunday morning, and I dropped a piece of bacon on the floor. And for a moment, it was like a mad dash between me and the two dogs to who could get the bacon. I won, of course, because I'm the human in this equation. But other findings in this interesting survey that says 44% of people follow the 5-second rule. And I remember seeing a study somewhere where the 5-second rule is just baloney. They said that once the food hits the ground, if there's dirt and germs on the floor or wherever it might be, it's on there. It's not like you drop a piece of food on the floor and the germs that are on the floor thinking, should we jump onto that piece of cheese or not? What do you think? No, it's as soon as it hits the ground, it's there. 52% of people say there are some places that they extend the 10-second rule. 10 seconds. Now, this is what surprises me. The top place that people extend to the 10-second rule is their home, 63%. Okay, I get that. It's your own home, right? It's your own germs, it's your own mess, whatever. But more than half, 55%, say they do that at a restaurant. Would you ever eat food off the floor of a restaurant? That is disgusting. Places people would never consider eating food off the floor. Bathroom floors. Well, of course not. Public streets or sidewalks. No, yeah. I wouldn't either. And then finally, airports. That is weird to me. Oh, I'm sorry, got noises there. That is weird to me that people would consider eating food off the floor of a restaurant. Like, what are we talking? Are we talking a French fry? I mean, if you dropped your porterhouse steak on the ground and you paid $30 for it, okay, maybe. But then at that point, I would say, hey, look, I dropped my steak on the ground. Can you take it back to the kitchen and have them throw it on the fire for like 30 seconds? Make sure all the germs and whatever might be on there are dead. But I can't imagine eating food off the floor of a restaurant.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst. Often irreverent, seriously funny.
That's we're going over the edge.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him now at Evening Edge Todd.
Often irreverent, seriously funny.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 6 to 8. Friendly reminder, the 457-1290 number is not working. It is non-operational tonight. However, you can dial 937-457-1291, 1292, or 1293 if you'd like to comment on the show. Penny is calling from Troy, and apparently Penny eats food off the floor. Is that right, Penny?
No! Okay, I have a couple of things to say about that. First of all, why is anyone in the bathroom with food?
Well,
that
is an excellent point. I mean, even at home or anywhere, like if I come downstairs and let's say like last night, I haven't had buttered popcorn in quite a while, and I remembered that my wife bought me some, and I made some popcorn, and I came downstairs, and I was like, man, I got to use the boys' room real quick. I don't take it in there and put it on the counter, right?
No.
Or sit there and eat popcorn while I'm doing my business. I leave it in the other room where the dogs can't get it, and I do what I got to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like off of the restaurant floor.
Yeah.
If my French fry gets on the table, that they've wiped off with their nasty disinfectant poison stuff.
Right.
I won't even eat it.
Yeah.
If it's on the table, let alone on the floor.
Yeah, I can't. And it said that survey said 55% will eat food off the floor at a restaurant. And that
oh my gosh. They must have been interviewing children.
Maybe so. That's
we'll do that.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. Pretty disgusting. Penny,
oh my gosh.
I got another question for you. Are you done with your comment about the floor food?
I am.
Okay. So let me ask you this question. Do you mind if I ask how old you are?
I'm 61.
Okay. So let me ask you this question. In your life, were you ever a crazy ex-girlfriend?
I don't think so.
Yeah. The fact that you had to think about it a little bit. Were there?
I mean, like when I was young, like in my teens, maybe. But since I've been an adult, no.
You never did anything crazy, like to an ex or who became an ex.
The craziest thing I did was, those cards that used to get in magazines that you could fill out and they would send you information about
stuff. Yeah.
I did fill out a whole bunch of those on someone who had another girlfriend before they got rid of me.
Oh. Yeah, so you probably...
So they got a lot of mail. It was, so that's not really...
That's not
horrible.
Right. I've got a story about a woman in Florida who, this is short of killing somebody, killing an ex, which not good, obviously. This is something else. And the woman was 42 and the guy was 24. So she was like a cougar, and she was a scorned cougar. So coming up, I've got details on that. What she did is pretty nuts. So.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. All right.
Tell.
I will tell you after the news, Penny. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
See ya.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst. Often irreverent, seriously funny.
Don't give me that politics, Jazz. It's not my racket.
People are tired of hearing nothing but doom and despair on the radio.
Everyone just relax, all right?
The problems of the world are not in my department.
Now who'd like a cookie?
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call me at 457-1290.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 6 to 8. Sitting here in the studio, and Entertainment Tonight is on Channel 7. And they just showed a clip of The Rock and Chris Hart taking the tortilla challenge. It's a TikTok challenge. And the TikTok challenge that they were taking, the tortilla challenge, involves slapping each other across the face with a floppy tortilla. But you've got water in your mouth, and the idea is to slap the tortilla so hard that the other person spits out the water. And whoever, hangs on to the water the longest, they win the tortilla challenge. I've tried to get my wife to do this a couple of times. I said, I think this would be a great video for the show. I could put it up on my social media. I think people would get a kick out of seeing you slap me across the face with a tortilla. And she was like, I'd love to, but do I have to use the tortilla? So needless to say, we haven't done that yet. But TikTok challenge sort of rolls into our dumb ways to die.
Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die. Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die.
I mean, my wife has soft hands, but still, I think a good slap. People might like to see. I don't know. Maybe. So here's this dumb ways to die, and this comes from South Dakota. There was a man who was hiking on an unmarked trail in southwestern South Dakota that was featured in a social media challenge. And this guy died when he and another hiker ran out of water last Thursday. 22-year-old guy was hiking in Badlands. Oh, by the way, when we do these, we're not making fun of these people in any way. We're merely sharing their story as a cautionary tale for you when you're out and about running around in the wild, that you're on guard. Because if you're not paying attention around any corner, death could be waiting for you. This 22-year-old guy from St. Louis was hiking in Badlands National Park when he collapsed and died of suspected dehydration and exposure. His 21-year-old buddy, also from Missouri, who was hiking with him, was placed under observation for exposure and dehydration. Local officials say temperatures in the park approached 100 degrees most of the week, and they warn people you have to have enough water, and that many underestimate the heat, especially in the Badlands. So are we saying, and here's the thing, they didn't talk about exactly what the specifics were of the challenge. In fact, the local deputy said, I don't want to reveal that because I don't want people trying to repeat it. And I thought, well, what sort of hiking challenge could there be? Whether it's, maybe you're trying to complete a certain trail hike in a period of time, but what kind of idiot would do that and not take enough water, unless that is part of the challenge, which is just asinine. Why would anybody do that? You think that you're strong enough to go on a long hike without plenty of water, especially in the Badlands when it's 100 degrees? It's ridiculous. But that is definitely a dumb way to die, taking a social media challenge. 937-457-1291, 92, and 93. Those are the three phone numbers that are working tonight. The 1290 number is inoperational. We're having some problems with it. If you try to call the 1290 number, you will get 3 weird-sounding beeps, and then you will be disconnected. It's not Jimmy, I promise. He's not hanging up on you. But if you want to call, 937-457-1291, 92, and 93. Over the weekend, it was a pretty decent weekend. I mean, we had some storms, obviously, on Saturday. We had that tornado that hit up in Miami County. I think it was EF1. But for the most part, it seemed to be okay. It was a little overcast, but my wife and I have been going back and forth about getting a pool. Now, I don't mean like a big in-ground pool, not a big fancy, not anything like that. She would be happy with one of those $25 Amazon inflatable pools that you see people have in their front yards and backyards. You know what I'm talking? It's just like a big rectangle. I guess they're pretty cheap on Amazon. But anyway, I saw a story about a company, and it's a new app. And I downloaded the app. It's called Swimply. Like Simply, but it's spelled Swimply. And basically what happens with Simply is that you can rent other people's swimming pools at their house for your use for whatever amount of time that you're willing to pay. And the story that I saw, this was in the Washington Post, where some guy, he held a birthday party bash for 25 kids. It was a 5-year-old's birthday party. Mom and Dad wanted to have a pool party, but they didn't have a pool. So they dropped $500 on rental for this pool party for their kids. The guy, banked that money. He also charges $35 extra. People can rent the grill. And what's nice is he also lets them use his bathroom, because the one thing you don't want is a bunch of 5-year-olds swimming around in your pool with no facilities nearby, because you know what that means, right? But I was wondering, I wonder if anybody in Dayton And this app is very new, but I wonder if anybody in Dayton is doing this, because there aren't a ton of houses that have in-ground pools. I mean, there's a lot, but not compared to all the, like if you go out to out west somewhere, like in Arizona or Vegas or California, there are tons of houses that have swimming pools. I mean, there's probably blocks where every single house has a swimming pool, but not in Dayton. We have a fair share, but I was just curious if anybody was doing that and if they would. I got on Swimply and there was one listing in Dayton. One listing. And it was someplace, let's see, I think it was off of Siebenthaler, maybe? 45431. Let's see what popped up again. Yeah, there was only one of these places, and they were charging $49 an hour. Yeah. Gem City Oasis. Never heard of it. It looks almost like maybe a hotel. Not a hotel, but like an apartment complex. So for $49, you can rent a pool for an hour. Huh. Oh, there's a few other places that have shown up. Interesting. But that seems odd to me. I don't know that I would want... It's like the whole Airbnb thing. We've talked about it on the show. It's just this weird notion of letting strangers come and live in your house for a day, for a weekend. It's not like you've got a rental necessarily and you're just renting it out. It's like people coming to your house. That's what a lot of the Airbnbs are. I don't know how I'd feel about having strangers come to my house and use my pool. Not just because of the 5-year-olds that are, peeing in it. But I know Airbnb, they've done away with a lot of the parties. Like you can't have house parties anymore. People were doing that, and I can't imagine again why anybody would allow someone to rent their house. And I don't know if they did it on the sly or if they knew ahead of time. Hey, yeah, we want to use your house for a party. And somebody's, oh, okay, really? That's insane. There's no way I would do that. Certainly wouldn't let people use my pool. That's nuts. 937-457-1291, 92, and 93. We have a break in the law story from Cincinnati. Breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law. Cops in Cincinnati, they arrested a woman who broke into an apartment and attacked another woman who was living there. Police say that she kicked in a door and then punched this woman in the face. But then the intruder picked up a toilet seat and struck the woman again in the face. She used a toilet seat. Now, I wonder if the toilet seat was attached or if it was, just kind of laying on the ground or something, because that seems like you break in and there's a toilet seat attached. You got to take the time to rip it off. And I don't know that you could do that. I don't know that I could do that. That would take some muscle, right? But that's what she used. She used a toilet seat. The suspect was arrested, charged with one count of aggravated burglary, and I would assume assault, though it doesn't say. But that happened down in Cincinnati. Assault with a toilet seat.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst. Often irreverent, seriously funny.